Okay, so picture this. What if humanity actually got a second chance on a brand new world, only to find out that their new home had other plans for them? Today we're jumping into a really gripping future history that asks that exact question. And let me tell you, the answer is way more terrifying than you can imagine.
And this one sentence, wow, it really says it all. I mean, after the massive, monumental effort of escaping a dying Earth, humanity thought they'd finally found a safe place to land. But, as we're about to see, calling it not as simple is the understatement of this century. So let's rewind. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. Before the chaos, before the fighting, there was this brief, shining moment of pure, unfiltered hope. This was the utopia that humanity had literally sacrificed everything to get to. Just take a look at this. This is the end result of centuries of scientific progress and just sheer human will. This isn't just a new planet, it's the very embodiment of a second chance. And what a utopia it was. I mean, this is the checklist for a perfect beginning, right? Clean air, thick forests, fresh water, new homes, they had it all. Advanced tech and a new sense of hope. For the first time in generations, people weren't just surviving, they were actually thriving.
But, paradise always seems to have a price. And on Nova Prime, that price was their very identity. This is where our story takes a really dark turn, as the planet itself kinda starts to push back.
This timeline just shows how terrifyingly fast everything happened. It started small, then it just exploded. What began as a medical mystery quickly became a full-blown crisis, as the colonists realized something was fundamentally, deeply wrong with their new home.
And the cause? Well, it was more shocking than anyone could have dreamed up. It wasn't some virus, it was the planet itself. The native microbes were actively and aggressively rewriting their genetic code. This was evolution on hyperspeed, and it was happening to them, right then and there.
Can you imagine looking in the mirror and not recognizing the person looking back? That was the new reality for the people on Nova Prime. Their humanity, the one single thing that tied them to their past, was being stolen from them, one cell at a time.
So when you're faced with a threat to your very existence, you've really got two choices: come together or fall apart. On Nova Prime, they chose to fall apart. This biological crisis turned into a social one, and it split the entire colony right down the middle.
So on one side, you had the people who embraced the change. They started calling themselves the Evolved, and they saw this as the next logical step for humanity. But on the other side, you had the purists, who saw it as a corruption, a perversion of everything they were. For them, saving humanity meant staying human, no matter the cost. There was just no middle ground here. This was a fight over the very definition of what it means to be human, and there was only gonna be one winner. The utopian dream of Nova Prime was about to turn into a battlefield. And so the war began. It wasn't a war for land or for resources, but for the future of the human race itself. This table pretty much tells the whole story, doesn't it? On one side, you've got a species that's perfectly adapted to its new world. They're faster, stronger, just different. On the other side, you've got a relic from an old world, relying on old tech. It was a battle between the future and the past, and, well, the past never really stood a chance. The war was over almost as fast as it started. The Evolved were just superior in every single way. The purists were hunted down, and the last traces of original humanity just vanished from Nova Prime. A new species was born, forged right there in the fire of that war.
But the end of the war was really just the beginning of the real mystery. With their enemies gone and their new world secure, the Evolved did something that nobody, and I mean nobody, could have ever predicted.
So, the war was over. Humanity 2.0 had won. But their very first act as the new rulers of Nova Prime, it raises a really chilling question. Were they ever really in control to begin with?
They sent a message. Just 3 simple words that change absolutely everything. We are ready. Ready for what? And I think more importantly, ready for who?
This is the question that just hangs over this entire story. Was humanity's second chance a gift, or was it some kind of test? Were they pioneers carving out a new future? Or were they just pawns in a huge cosmic game they never even knew they were playing? In the end, this story leaves us with a really deep and unsettling thought. What if our destiny isn't to conquer the stars, but to be conquered by them? What if the future of humanity isn't human at all?